Enroll your child for the manifested e-learning platform and see their grades grow tremendously. These videos can be downloaded to a laptop for offline viewing or viewed from a smartphone in a cost-friendly format.
How are you, everyone? Welcome to the social studies lesson. We will continue with the topic law, peace, and conflict resolution. Welcome to the lesson. Social studies. The topic, law, peace, and conflict resolution. Conflict resolution. Learners, in our last lesson, we discussed the effects of lawlessness. In the previous lesson, we had highlighted the causes of lawlessness. We defined lawlessness as a state where people in the society do not obey the law, right? People do not obey the law. In our last lesson, we highlighted some of the effects of lawlessness in the society. Okay, we said, for example, that people fear to work in such places where there are incidences of lawlessness. We say that lawlessness in a region makes it difficult for the government to provide social services and facilities like schools, like hospitals, like good roads and boreholes or tapped water. Because we explained that the reason why the government cannot be able to provide these facilities is because the government relies on the people to provide schools, to provide hospitals. The government requires doctors to work in such areas. So if there is no peace in a certain area, if lawlessness prevails in a certain area, then no one would want to work in such an area. So it becomes difficult for the government to provide social services. We also say that that lawlessness leads to destruction of property and loss of lives, because in a lawless society, people do whatever they want to do. So we highlighted around six effects of lawlessness. Then at the end of that lesson, I gave you an assignment, which I hope you have done. Learners, make sure you do the assignments that I give in this class. In our today's lesson, we want to learn something else, but under the topic law, peace, and conflict resolution, we're going to study the importance of the rule of law. We are going to study the importance of the rule of law. Importance of the rule of law. Learners, rule of law simply means that everyone obeys the law. It means that the law that has been set in place, no one is above it, including the government. The leaders in government are also under the law. So in a society where there is rule of law, where people respect the law, then people live in peace. In a society, learners, where there is rule of law, people live in peace. In a society where there is rule of law, people live in peace. That's why our topic is law, peace, and conflict resolution. There can be no peace without law. So the rule of law is where the rules that have been set in place are respected, they are obeyed by everyone. So that if anyone breaks the law, he is punished. Because we said where there are laws, then the laws, if people disobey the laws, then there has to be a mechanism, there has to be a way in which people are punished for the disobedience of laws. So where there is rule of law I've said is where people respect and obey the law. And if those who do not obey the law are punished, where there is that rule of law, then people live in peace because of the following reasons. We are going to give reasons, and that's what we are calling importance of the rule of law, because of the following reasons. The first reason, or the first reason is that people live in peace because the law is applied fairly. Because the law is applied fairly, meaning no one is above it. Anyone who breaks it is punished. There is no discrimination when it comes to the application of the law. If that happens, if the law is applied fairly, then people will live in peace. But if some people are above it, if some people break the law and punished, but others when they break the same law are not punished, then those who are punished will be the cause of lawlessness in the society. They will not be happy, they will cause chaos in the society. Number 2, wrongdoers, learners. Wrongdoers are those who break the law. Wrongdoers are arrested and punished. Where there is rule of law, people live in peace because those who break the law are arrested and punished. If people know that they will be arrested and they will be punished if they break the law, then that will deter them from breaking the law. If stealing someone's goods will cause another person to be arrested, the thief to be arrested and be punished, then those who have the temptation of stealing may not steal because they know if they are arrested, they will be punished. And that is how the law helps the society to be at peace. There are people who don't break, there are others who don't rob, there are people who don't steal, there are people who don't break rules because they know if they do, they'll be arrested and be punished. So that stops them from breaking the law. And if that is to happen, then people live in peace. That's why we have the law. Learners, do you understand? All right. Number 3, the third reason is that people respect one another. They also respect their property. People respect one another and other than just respecting one another, people also respect other people's property and their property. Where there is rule of law. Learners, we said, in a society, the government puts in place laws which people are expected to follow. For example, I am expected to respect you by not abusing you, by not disrespecting you as a person, by not talking evil against you, by not publishing information that is incorrect about you. There is a law that says that we should not do what I've just been, the examples I've been giving. Okay, there is law that has been put in place to ensure that people respect one another. I'm not supposed to write information that is not true about you, for example, on Facebook, in newspapers, or on television, right? That one I'm not supposed to do. Because if I do, I can be arrested and be punished. Because of that law, people are able to respect one another. The reason why I'm not able to do that, because I fear the law. All right? I fear the law. I fear the law because the law says if I'm to break that law, then I will be arrested and be punished. So the law stops people from disrespecting others. People respect one another and their property. There is also a law that says you are not to steal my goods. Stealing is a crime. Robbing is a crime. That is a law. There is a law. If I was to steal your property, then I ought to be arrested and be charged and be punished in a court of law. Okay? So that law, all right, makes people to respect one another and their property. That's why you cannot just come and take my tie. You cannot just walk from where you are and come and pick my tie or my suit. I'll take action against you. I'll report you to the police. The police will come for you. You'll be arrested, you'll be taken to court, and you'll be charged in court for crime. So that is property. That is my property. Likewise, I cannot come to your home and pick your television. If I do that, I'll be charged, I'll be arrested, and be punished. So rule of law is where people are punished for their wrongdoings. The rule of law means there is no one who is above the law. Even the government cannot just come to your home and take your property, because the government is the one that puts in place these laws. The government has all the powers. But with all that power that the government has, the government cannot just come to a private individual and rob that individual or take that individual's property. That individual can also take action against the government. Because we said under the rule of law, no one is above the law. And because of this rule of law, people respect one another. The government respects its people. The people also respects the government. The people respect each other. And people live in peace. All right? In a society where there is rule of law, people live in peace. That is this third point, learners. Third point. I want to give the fourth reason. Number 4. Number 4. We are discussing the importance of rule of law in the society. Now, learners, in a society where there is rule of law, people live in peace because people support and help each other. People support and help each other. People support and help each other. Number 5. Number 5, learners, in a society where there is rule of law, people live in peace because children are also able to go to school. Okay? Children are also able to go to school. Children are also able to go to school safely. Let me add safely. Because of rule of law. Children are also able to go to school safely. But where there is no rule of law, learners will not feel safe to go to school because you don't know what will happen. In a state of lawlessness, anything can happen. Someone can attack you and go away with your books or injure you along the road. Because in a state of lawlessness, people can do anything. But where there is rule of law, when you leave your house in the morning, you don't fear about your safety because you know no one will harm you, no one will injure you, no one will take your property, no one will take your shoes. You will go to school and come back safely. The rest of the members of the society are also to operate safely. People can go to the market safely. Farmers can bring their produce to the market safely. Traders will open their shops and feel secure. They'll not fear that their property will be stolen or broken into, don't fear being attacked or robbed at all because there is rule of law. So learners, respect for the rule of law encourages development of the society and also completion of projects. If the government was doing a road somewhere in your rural area somewhere, that you can be sure the road will be completed because there is rule of law, because there is peace. All right? The government can open a school in your local area because, or a hospital, because there is peace. When there is peace, doctors can come from Nairobi. Doctors can come from other parts of the country to come and run the hospital because there is peace. But when there is no peace, then there is what we call lawlessness. Peace does not prevail where there is lawlessness. In fact, lawlessness is the absence of peace. So respect for the rule of law encourages development. It brings peace, which encourages development in the society and completion of projects in the society. And learners, we should also always obey the laws of the country. All of us, we should always obey the laws of the country. The government has put in place laws through parliament. Remember, we learned that parliament is a body that makes laws. There are many laws that the parliament has made, which all of us should always obey. Okay? We should always obey. There are laws that we obey while on the road. There are laws that we obey when producing goods. The manufacturers have laws that they need to obey when producing goods or products. Hotels have laws which they are supposed to obey when they're running the hotels, like hygiene and nutrition laws. Schools have laws that they have to obey when running the institutions. Schools are run based on laws that the government has given out. Universities are run based on laws. Learners, do you understand? Do you get the point? Everything we do, the government has ensured that there are laws. When we go to the road transport, there is traffic laws which must be followed, like putting on safety belts. Okay? When you get to public service vehicle, make sure you have your belt on, safety belt. Okay? So The laws, this is very important, because when we obey the laws, then the country will be at peace. And when you are at peace, we gave examples so that even tourists can come into such a country and bring in revenue, right? But when there is no peace, tourists cannot come into the country. When there is peace in the country, investors can come into the country and start industries which will create jobs for the people. But when there is chaos, when there is no peace, then that cannot happen. So that's why learners, we should all strive to obey the laws of the country. This will reduce the problems of lawlessness. Remember, we mentioned the problems, the effects of lawlessness. That will reduce lawlessness. As a student, make sure you obey the laws. You are not supposed to steal, okay? There are students who steal books. Don't be one of them. Or stealing pens, your friend's pen. Don't be one of them. There are those who steal money from their parents, from their guardians. Stealing is a crime. And one day, if you don't stop, one day you will be arrested and you will be punished. You may end up in jail for stealing. So there are many laws. As you continue with your education, learners, you will be able to learn more of the laws of the country. But for now, learners, is expected of you to just understand the importance of the rule of law. It's important for you to also understand that law brings peace. Okay? We have peace because of the laws. There can be no peace without laws. And without peace, we cannot do many things. We cannot develop as a country. You cannot also not go to school. So learners, that will mark the end of our today's lesson. And it will mark the end of the topic. We've learned many things under this topic, learners. This is not the only lesson. We had previous lessons. We discussed, we gave the meaning of lawlessness, the causes of lawlessness, the effects of lawlessness. Today we have discussed the importance of the rule of law. Rule of law, we've given 5 reasons why a rule of law is important in the society. So I want you to go through the lesson once more. Go through the lesson twice if you have time. Write down notes. Then after you have done that, you will answer one question. I'm going to give you one question which I'm calling revision. Give 5 reasons why it's important to obey the laws of a country. When answering this question, please don't refer to your notes. Close your exercise book. Then try and see if you are able to give 5 reasons that we have learned in our today's lesson. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for tuning in. Learners, I want to encourage you to continue studying, continue taking your tuition when you are at home, when you are at school. If you have questions, please feel free to ask your questions. Below this video, there is a comment section where you can send your questions, and we will answer all your questions. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you for choosing to study with us. For more information, you can call us on 0724 173845.